Good morning. This is your 8:15 daily operations weather briefing. Seeing a slight onshore breeze start to pick up early this morning. Otherwise, just seeing some filtered sun coming through a broken deck at 25,000 feet. Expecting that to stick around as we move through the day today. Overall, expecting fairly quiet conditions as we move through the day. No precipitation or lightning expected. We will have a slightly breezy onshore wind, with a possibility of seeing a wind advisory late in the day today. If we take a look at the current surface analysis, we have high pressure centered well to our north, keeping that gradient so that we will see that onshore flow as we move through the day today. This boundary to our south is going to make its way into our region as we move into the overnight time frame and into early tomorrow. It's going to bring southerly flow back into the area, and with that, more mild conditions. And we'll also see some additional cloud cover as that boundary pushes through. Current conditions this morning broken at 25,000 feet, winds out of the southeast at 10 knots. Temperature at 49 degrees and relative humidity is at 83%. Take a look at the current visible satellite. We can see this high cloud deck starting to move in and over the area, and expecting that to continue as we move through the daytime hours today. Overall, calling it partly cloudy, but we will see some filtered sun through this high cloud deck as we move through the day today. If we look at the European model here, see what we can expect as we move through the next couple of days, as we'll have somewhat of a challenging forecast. Again, as mentioned, we're quiet as we move through the day today. Just some slightly breezy onshore conditions going to keep temperatures on the cooler side as we move through the day. Going into the evening, we'll see some increasing clouds, particularly as we go through the overnight and early morning hours of Thursday. As that warm boundary moves through, we'll continue to see slightly breezy winds through the evening and into the morning of Thursday, turning more southerly. It's going to start warming those temperatures as we move through the overnight, setting up for a very mild day as we go into Thursday. Early Thursday morning, we'll have a chance for some low clouds, possibly some light drizzle around the area. Before that ends, we'll continue to see cloudiness as we move through the day on Thursday. We'll see a very slight chance of an isolated shower on Thursday, with potential for some upper level energy kind of swinging through the area quickly. It looks to be mainly north of Wallops, but just can't rule that out. Just a very slight chance, maybe 10 or 15% chance, the way things are looking at this time. Otherwise, as that warm front lifted north, we'll see a cool boundary moving in with an area of low pressure that passes well to the north. It's going to try to sink south as we move into Friday, overnight, Thursday night into Friday as a backdoor front. So ahead of that, we'll continue to see slightly breezy and mild conditions. Once again, early Friday morning, chance of some low clouds, possibly a light rain shower. Is really going to depend on how quickly this boundary sinks south. GFS model has it moving south a bit quicker than what the European model does here, and also the GFS is a bit more of a wet solution with this boundary. As you'll see, as the European model sinks it south, it does break up a lot of the precip, but nonetheless, this will also impact the temperatures we'll see for Friday. We'll likely see our high temperature early in the morning, and just how high it gets will depend on how quickly this backdoor front moves in, and we see those shift in winds out of the northeast. But I do expect a chance of some rain showers around the area on Friday. Very slight chance of a isolated thunderstorm. Otherwise, cooling as we get into the afternoon with slightly breezy onshore winds moving through the day. So looking at the 24-hour weather risk chart for today, starting off with green conditions this morning, but we are already starting to see that breeze picking up and expecting that breeze to pick up, becoming slightly breezy by the time we get into the later morning. East-southeast to southeast, 9 to 14 knots, gusting up to 20 knots, and then going into the afternoon, seeing that southeast wind pick up 10 to 15 knots, sustain, gusting up to 23 knots. So we do pick up a yellow risk for winds at or above 25 knots, and pretty much seeing those southeasterly winds continue into the evening, becoming more southerly as we go into the early morning hours of Thursday, but still staying slightly breezy, so keeping that yellow risk through the start of the day on Thursday. We'll see our high temperature of 57 degrees, and as mentioned, mainly just high clouds around during working hours today with some filtered sun. We'll start to see some low and mid-level clouds around 5,000 and 8,000 feet as we go into the first part of the evening. And then through the overnight time frame, again, increasing clouds. We'll see those low cloud layers around 4,000 and 6,000 feet with a ceiling likely developing around 4,000 feet by the time we get to 8 p.m. And then going into the early morning hours, we will see that ceiling likely dropping down to around 1,000 feet, possibly as low as 500 feet, with some light drizzle possible. So we do pick up that yellow risk for that light drizzle and a yellow risk for those reduced ceilings. And our low temperature will actually be early in the evening around 8 o'clock, around 50 degrees, and then we'll see a warming trend as those winds become more subtly moving into the start of the day on Thursday. Tides are running normal. Thursday we'll see mostly to partly cloudy conditions, so mostly cloudy through the early part of the day. Could see some breaks in the clouds later in the day. Again, a very slight chance of an isolated shower. That looks to be a higher probability well north of Wallops, but can't rule that out. Otherwise, a very warm day behind that warm front with a high of 75 degrees, and we will see breezy conditions prevailing through the day with a decent chance of seeing a wind advisory as we have that orange risk for that threat here. Going into Thursday evening, we'll see partly to mostly cloudy conditions as clouds are back on the increase. Once again, a chance of some low clouds, maybe even a slight chance of some light rain or a light rain shower dipping into the area. Otherwise, continuing with some slightly breezy conditions and overall warm for an evening low of 61 for this time of year. Yellow risk for that precip threat, yellow for those reduced ceilings. And as we move into Friday, continue with the yellow risk for precip, although a slightly higher risk than what we'll see Thursday evening during the day on Friday. Yellow for those reduced ceilings and visibilities with that activity as well. And we do have a yellow risk for those winds that are above 25 knots, as we could see those breezy conditions behind that backdoor cold front possibly picking up out of the northeast. But overall, we'll see mostly cloudy conditions through the day. Again, that chance of a few rain showers through the day. Very slight chance of seeing a thunderstorm the way things are looking at this time. We can't rule that out. It is a non-zero chance. Otherwise, we'll see warm conditions to start today, high around 74 degrees, and by the time we get into the afternoon, we should see that boundary pushing through the area with things cooling off during the mid to late afternoon, again, depending on how quickly that backdoor front pushes through and the slightly breezy conditions set in. That's going to wrap up the 8:15 daily operations weather briefing. We'll be back again at 10 a.m. to take a look at the extended forecast. Enjoy your morning.